Story time. Hey, come on.
All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are here for another episode of Story Time. I am so excited, ladies and gentlemen, once again to come back to you. All right, let me get this music stopping. And today we got a good one for you guys. We got a young man that you probably seen his face out here in the community, and you may know him. You may have seen him out here in the streets of Raleigh. You may have seen him in a couple of places. And we are so excited to have him. He goes by the name of Grady Bussey. Grady Bussey is doing some amazing things in the Raleigh area, and you may have seen him. And right now, we are going to bring him up so you can find out what he has going on in the Triangle area. He has done some amazing things thus far in the city with the African American Festival and in our Parks and Recreation. So we are just excited to have him, and we are going to bring him up that you can see him and know who he is. And we would like to welcome him today, right now. Grady, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm good. Listen, Grady, I am so excited to be able to talk to you today. I am even more excited because you are a former student of St. Augustine's College. So
There you
knowing where you have come from at the HBCU and everything, just a proud moment for me.
go. Yeah.
But before we get started, I would like for you to tell the people a little bit about who you are. I know some of the details, but I'd just like you to share for those who don't know.
Well, I guess the most important thing is, again, my name is Grady. I'm a father of three. I've been in Raleigh for over 30 years, and I'm originally from Long Island, New York. And I had the opportunity to take the new Great Migration in the 90s and came down to Raleigh to attend St. Augustine's University. And then I fell in love with Raleigh and opportunities that are available to me. And I've been laboring in the community for many years for those that are a part of the African American experience, the Southeast Raleigh experience, the community center experience, the political experience. And I'm just happy to be a part of what Raleigh is going. And I appreciate you having me on today.
Now, Grady, I know that you also have done some amazing things here lately for us in the African American community. You really did spearhead some things for 3 years for Raleigh, North Carolina, even through a pandemic. So I would love to hear about that experience. I know you passed the mantle on, and now you have shaken off that hat. But I want to say kudos to you, and I would just love for you to just share what that was like for you and share for anybody who's never experienced it downtown or done anything at all with the African American Cultural Committee.
Yeah. So one of the realities that I have had the true opportunity to serve the public in many unique ways, and one of the ways was we were a part of the pandemic, and the world had changed dramatically. When we think about all that was happening in 2020. We were very much shut in. For those who are not familiar with the African American Cultural Festival itself, it is the largest festival, African American festival in the state of North Carolina. And so for the last 13 years, thousands of people would take a pilgrimage to downtown Raleigh to be a part of the African American experience through song, dance, entertainment, and upliftment. And one of the things was that during the pandemic, we had to learn how to shift and how do you serve the public in a way in which it's still vital, there's still benefit, but make sure it was safe. So we have an extraordinary board that is very serious about how do you serve the public and adjust to our reality. One of the things about the African American experience that we all know is we've learned how to adjust, and being a part of that experience alone, we had to learn how to create a safe way in which we could have a festival where the public can still be a part of it. The public can still feel as if they're having an African American experience, but make sure it was safe. So all the things that we did were virtual at that time. We were able to create workshops and create ways in which we had gave people all over the world the opportunity to see what the festival was about. And so in turn, what ends up happening with that is that because we had to utilize that platform, once we came out the pandemic, we already had the streaming capability. We had the opportunity to, we recognized there were people around the world that wanted to see what was going on in Raleigh. And so from there, we were actually able to create a new opportunity of streaming of income as well, because the reality was that, people were donating all over the country that was seeing what we were doing here locally. So it was a great experience. I really have to, say that, when people are in a pressuring situation, you get good people that step up. And we have an extraordinary board that really stepped up in this experience to show leadership, and we've all benefited from it.
And we know, if you are not familiar with it, I'm going to show you a flyer right quick. What you want to see is this is what's happening. You want to mark the calendar for September 2nd and 3rd for the big event that's coming up, because that's the big highlight. Now, you passed the mantle on. Can you tell us a little bit about the person who is going to supersede you and take over now?
Yeah, so one of the cool parts is that we actually always made history from the size of the actual festival to the amount of opportunity that we've learned how to transition. And we were happy to announce Dr. Laura Bethay as our new chair. And Dr. Bethay, she has always been a labor of love for the festival. She's always been committed to figuring out how do we make it, what we do better. And she stepped in during the time that we truly had a need with the pandemic and everything like that. So, like I said, it's the African American Culture Festival is the longest listed festival that tells about the African American experience. Over 13 years now, and for her to be the first female to run the festival, it's extraordinary just to see not only the growth in the festival, but how we continuously raise the bar and break barriers.
Wow, that's amazing. And if anyone wants to get in contact with the committee, is it still openings for volunteers? Should they still contact you guys?
I would always tell people to go to our website at aacfestivals.org. What you'll do is you'll have the opportunity to see the festival, see what it's all about, get a better understanding of the ambiance and the experience. And then there's a link that says information, and there's a separate email. If you're interested in being a part of the festival as a volunteer, as a board member, if you want to do vending and things like that, that's where you would go. And like I said, it is one of these things that has truly grown to, length and bounds, and we're always looking for quality people that are willing to serve the public.
Wow. Now, Grady, I know that you also are doing a lot of things in the city. You've been in Parks and Rec for over 12 years, and now you are director over Chavis Community Center. And I know that you have some additional responsibilities as well. Can you tell us a little about that and what we can expect?
Well, it's a couple of things. So, yes. So, my stopping ground literally was the Parks and Rec system. When I was a student at St. Augustine's University, college back in those days, I remember walking to Lions Park Community Center back in the early 90s and asked for a summer job because I did not want to go back home to New York because I didn't want to be in my mom's house, right? Just like every other young person. And so I was able to get a job at, Lions Park, and I was a camp counselor, and I actually fell in love with the whole opportunity to serve the public. And one of the things I've always been, I always tell people about Parks and Recreation, which is different than anything else, is the fact that with Parks and Rec, you give a chance to pour into a child's life, and it's not like teaching. Like either you introduce them to new things. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, it's not the end of the world, And what Parks and Rec really did for me is give me a real sense that you can serve the public in a way in which people truly appreciate it. So I've seen children grow up. They've been in my camps. They've been in my after-school programs. They've been in all my athletic leagues and track programs. And it's truly been a pleasure to support and be a part of the growth of Raleigh. And the Parks and Recreation system is one of the key aspects of why people move here. And I was recently the director of the John Chavis Memorial Park. I did just get promoted to our housing and neighborhood department. But John Chavis Memorial Park was, one of those, I always call it as Mecca. And, people would come from all over the world to come see this unbelievable structure and grasp the hold of the history and experience of John Chavis Memorial Park. For those that are not familiar with John Chavis Park, John Chavis and John Chavis Memorial Park has two extraordinary histories. John Chavis was a teacher and a preacher. He was a Revolutionary War veteran. He was the first African American male to graduate from a college here in North Carolina. And so he was a Renaissance man of all Renaissance men. He was just in a whole class by himself. What ends up happening in the early 1940s, the reality was that North Carolina or Raleigh didn't actually have a black park for African Americans to go to. And so what the local African American leaders at that time did was push the name of John Chavis to be the person that would recognize the park. And so when the park came about in the 40s, it was considered like Black Disney World. At that time, you had people from all over the country that would come to John Chavis Memorial Park, and it was part of the Green Book, which a lot of people are familiar with. And that was a safe place for African Americans to go to. And that was it. And, that was where all the family reunions were for the African Americans, everywhere from Florida all the way up to New York. Everybody met at Chavis. And, as the city grew and as the city changed, the John Chavis location in that area became blighted. In the 80s and 70s, 80s and 90s, that was one of the most fearful places to go to in Raleigh, just because of the transition of that community became very transient, and a lot of bad things had happened. But in the 2000s, what ends up happening is that we had another wave of extraordinary leaders that wanted to make sure that we paid homage to the experience of the John Chavis Memorial Park and the experience of those that grew up there. And so 3 years ago, we had opened up this extraordinary new facility, and I was a director there for a little over a year. And it was great. I mean, just to see families come back. We had done some extraordinary things programmatically, and we kept the same ambiance of telling the good news about the city and telling the good news about Chavis. And then from there, I've just recently gotten a true opportunity to serve our public in our housing and our neighborhoods department. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm in communities now in trying to, figure out new and exciting ways to enhance our own neighborhoods that we live in. And so it's extraordinary. I love the city. I've been a part of the city for a long time. And I've seen change, and I've seen leadership become very sincere about serving our public. And I'm just glad to be a part of that whole experience.
Wow. And you know what? It's special for me too, Grady, because one thing, my family actually grew up in Chavis. My brother and sister was raised in Chavis. They
Yeah,
were born at St. Agnes Hospital. You know,
there you
my
go.
parents
That's what
and
I'm
my brother and
saying.
sister.
That's
I'm
right.
the only one that was actually born in New York City and raised in New York, but my family is from Chavis. So looking at Chavis, hearing the stories, and seeing the evolution is exciting for me.
Yeah,
Definitely exciting. So we thank you guys for everything you're doing to revitalize the city and to bring it back to life and to share the history for those of us who don't have that. Now, you are a proud husband and a father of your children.
yeah.
I have to give you a moment to highlight that because I know I've seen some things where your children have been doing some amazing things. Look like they following your footsteps a little bit
Hey, well,
too.
you know what? You know what? I'm not going to say I need to check the blood because these kids are really phenomenal, but they really are. But I think it's all about teamwork. I got a wife that is very serious about making sure that we work good as a team. And so, this doesn't work without teamwork. I got a child that's his senior at Duke. That'll be graduating next year. He'll be overseas next fall because he speaks fluent Japanese, and so he's going to be at Tokyo for his last semester. I got another son that he's extraordinary. He's very gifted as a actor, and he's on Broadway plays and he's doing shows at East Carolina University, and you know
Wow.
I mean, I'm telling you, to see this boy get up there and know all those lines and do all these things. And I've been on TV a lot, and I don't know. I mean, the amount of stuff that he has to remember, where I ain't got to remember 3 to 4 lines, and he does the whole thing. I don't know how he does it. And I got a little girl. She's 13, and she runs my house. And
Wow.
she's another one, just gifted, and she's just figuring out which direction she's going, and she's a great volleyball player, and she's an artist, and she thinks
Wow.
she's cute, so we're modeling her and everything like that. So I don't know, but I'll tell you, like I'll tell anybody, that the most significant thing for me, that I think I've taken out with my kids is just exposing them. And it kind of goes back to the world of Parks and Recreation. You can get into a program and just be exposed to something. When my children, when they were little, I exposed them to everything and anything they wanted to be interested in. And we gave them the impression that they can do anything, and they were crazy enough to believe it. And now we're seeing the fruits of the fact that they tried, and some things are going to work, some things ain't going to work, but I'm happy. I'm a proud parent to see that my children are living, their dreams. And we've all seen these pictures that are these shirts that say, I am my ancestors' greatest dream. And my kids are those. Like I to see what they have done in their short lives. I mean, I wouldn't even been able to dream any of that stuff. So.
Wow. So now, Grady, when you're not working with the city, when you're not doing the things for Chavis, when you're not being a father, I know that you are a man of Omega Psi Phi. So I know you do some things with your fraternity. But what else did Grady like to do when on his downtime?
Well, I'll be very honest with you. I'm a diehard Jets fan. I'm from Long Island, and my first job, I was a bowl boy for the New York Jets. So I've 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 been a diehard fan. So I'm looking forward to our season this year. I have a old 1972 Cutlass that I'll be playing around with in my garage, and every now and then, when the weather is perfect, I'll take it out for a ride, and and I stay active, just trying to figure out new and exciting ways to kind of, figure out how we get involved and do cool things. I'm a collector of historical African American comic books, and so I'm a nerd by nature. So I get a lot of I buy comic books that have a historical African American perspective to it.
Man,
So
they don't even know about comic books, right? We came up with all the comic book and stuff. It's amazing when you look at how
yeah,
times change. They can't appreciate it like we.
no,
It's amazing.
and I'll be honest with you. I was telling somebody the other day that I think Stan Lee needs to go down history in one of the greatest literatures in our time, because I was not a reader when I was a child, and I really didn't like reading, but comic books was my carrot. So I would go to the to the little deli up the block, and I would pay 75 cents for a comic book. And now, since I'm an adult and I've seen the evolution of the Black Panther and the Falcon and Luke Cage and all of these different superheroes, you get a chance to see that, man. I have these books in my hand, and I remember these moments when these first came out, and when I started buying them, they were literally like 30 cents on eBay. Now you can't find none of that stuff.
Would you sell them? I mean, because some of them are, I'm sure they're antique.
Well, no, my kids are getting all of my stuff, so that don't go nowhere,
I got you. So now, Grady, I remember when you was downtown and you were a part of the African American culture, and we were on the stage and you were doing that. I remember you was enjoying the music and the hip hop and everything, and I know you're a hip hop lover too. And this is a very monumental year for hip hop.
Yeah.
If anybody who watched everything on television, they see we're doing the 50-year celebration. And then you came up with an amazing idea for Raleigh, North Carolina to do something to educate people, to bring awareness, and to really celebrate this culture called hip hop. Tell us a little bit about how that came about and what your expectation is for that particular event.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and you gave me goosebumps saying that. I'm gonna tell you, one of the wonderful things about being a part of the Raleigh experience has been the ability to get in the right room with the right people to figure out how to do things that are detrimental to our community, that are prevalent, that makes things live, and to be able to see something come into clay to fruition is extraordinary. Back in December, I was pretty much online, kind of thinking about 2023, and I turned 50 this year, so I was like, man, I would love to be able to do something fun. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that it was going to be the 50th year of hip hop. So immediately, I tried to figure out ways to kind of get things in motion and, get in contact with the right people. And I'm one of the chairs of the City of Raleigh Museum. After I left the African American Cultural Festival, I became one of the board members of the City of Raleigh Museum. And so what I did was I pitched the opportunity for us to be able to pay homage to those that were part of the hip hop experience here locally for over these 50 years. And, it just pretty much took its own wheels and ran with it. It went from, hey, let's just have a workshop to, we're basically going to just turn Raleigh upside down August 12th, where we're shutting down Fayetteville Street during the day. We're going to have a fun festival for the public from 12 to 4, where we're going to have graffiti artists, musicians, dancers, you name it. We're going to have vendors. It's really going to be a great experience. All of this in the name of hip hop.
Hip hop, yeah.
All in the name of hip hop. And then in the evening, we have a star-studded event. We actually, and Crystal, this is new news. We were actually able to, because of the type of uproar and positive response that we got, we were able to actually move our event to the Raleigh Union Station. And so we're going to actually have our hip hop sneaker ball at Raleigh Union Station on August 12th. And at that time, we're going to be able to pay homage to those that were pioneers in the area of DJs, who were promoters, who were radio personalities, and more. And it has truly been a pleasure to see how many people wanted to be a part of this experience as volunteers. We actually did something that nobody in the country has ever done before. The city wanted to cultivate people's individual hip hop experience. And by doing that, what we decided to do was have people send in their photos of their experience. And we got hundreds and hundreds of photos from people from all over the country that wanted to tell about the hip hop experience here in Raleigh. And it was amazing. I've seen things from the photos at the Emory Gym at St. Aug to, people down at Nakasaki's in the early 90s. And the list goes on, from family reunions to weddings to people's repasts or whatever. Like it was truly a true experience to be able to allow people to see and tell their own hip hop.
Thousands. And now let me ask you something. Have you reached out to LL Cool J? Because he's got a hip hop movement as well. And he's getting ready to do his tour too. So I was like, oh my God. And they coming to Raleigh too. I said, look at how all this is coming together. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, you know what? We have a lot of local national artists here that are very entwined in our experience. I don't want to give away the ghost tonight, but we got some things coming that it's going to be well worth the effort to get to this event.
Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. And I just commend you for the thought of it, because a lot of people don't know the history of hip hop that was born in the Bronx, New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a native New Yorker, you New Yorker, so, proud. This is a proud moment because a lot of people really undermined the whole hip hop, culture, what it's all about, what was happening in the beginning, what they were trying to do. Yeah. So it's really, 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 really going to be interesting to see that. So Grady, let me ask you, because I don't want to keep you, because I know you're a family man. It is Sunday, and I know you want to get back to your family. What do you want people to know about Grady Bussey when you sit down and you stop doing all these things, when you stop using your voice and you stop advocating for these things? What do you want people to say about the work of Grady Bussey?
Well, I'm gonna say this, that I believe that we are. I stand on the shoulders of a lot of extraordinary people, and as I'm rolling up my sleeves for our public, I recognize that nothing is possible without those that sacrifice for me. So I owe it a debt of gratitude to march with people, to organize with people, to be in rooms, to be able to be a voice for those that don't have a voice. So I think if anybody want to know anything about me, I'm the most, I'm gonna hang out with the Crips and Bloods the same way I'm gonna hang out with our mayors and those who are in position. I take people for who they are. I believe that we all have value, and I'm built to serve, and I'm glad that we have people like you who give people the ability to be in front of the spotlight and help tell people their story. And I don't know, I'm a believer that we're all intertwined in some form or fashion, and for us to be able to be better humans, we got to have that servant spirit. So I'm a believer in that, and can't nobody tell me no different.
Wow. Well, I tell you, you do it well. Like I said earlier, I'm so proud of watching you evolve and everything that you have become. And I can't wait to see the rest, that's yet to come, because I know it's getting bigger and better each and every year. So keep doing what you're doing. And so I have a number on the screen because I know that you are part of the City Parks and Rec. Yeah. And in case somebody wanted to reach you for that, I put that on there. However, with all the things you have going on, is there a particular way that you would prefer for people to reach out for you for any of those things?
I'll tell you what, email is always the best way. So you have my name and email address. It's always better because the phone is I get a lot of calls often, and I want to make sure that I can respond to those that may have questions and things in that manner. So, Grady.Bussey@RaleighNC.gov will probably always be your best bet to kind of reach out, and I'll have the opportunity to respond to you there.
Wow. Well, I thank you so much for that. And I know that you're approachable. So that's a good thing. Some people are, they're in position, but you can't reach them. So I thank you for being reachable. That's important, for people to be able to reach you. And so let me ask you this. In closing, anything that you would like to let people know about that's coming up, or about you, or anything particular that I didn't ask you that you would like to say while you have this opportunity?
A couple things. One, our tickets are going to be dropping for the Hip Hop Sneaker Ball in 2 weeks. So make sure that you go to the City of Raleigh's website at RaleighNC.gov and search City of Raleigh Museum. You'll get a link to our museum and where you can actually get your tickets. They're going to go fast. We're going to sell out very fast. And so you want to make sure you take advantage of that. And as well as you want to make sure you pay homage, and the African American Cultural Festival will be Labor Day weekend. You're going to want to make sure you get to that. It's always a great experience. It's most people's homecomings and family reunions. And it's really worth the effort to make sure not only do you attend, but you support financially the African American Cultural Festival, because, we stay around this long for a reason. And, we want to make sure that not only do we take advantage of the opportunity to see entertainment and arts, but we also, dig in our pockets to do that as well.
So people can buy a ticket for someone else if they don't want to attend. That's a good way for them to support.
Sure. Yeah.
And also attend. And now, will it be an age limit? Is it going to be open to any young adults or children? I mean, how is the age going to be?
So, what we have during the day is a family atmosphere. Babies can be out there with their parents, and we're going to make sure that that's a good experience for them. What we have at night is an adult event. It is one of those, grown, sexy people going to be dressed up, and so I want to make sure that you use your own discernment with that. As an adult, you can be 18 and over for our sneaker ball. And like I said, if that's something that you fall into, that's cool. But you're not going to want to have your 7-year-old out there. So send them out in the morning.
Okay. So there'll be something for everybody throughout that day. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get involved. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting in August of 2023. You don't want to miss it. And if you have some children and you're getting ready for the summertime, as we close out, I just want to remind you, Parks and Recreation has some great programs going on right now for your children. Contact Grady Bussey if you have some questions about Chavis community or other communities. I'm sure he can point you in a direction. And we look forward to it. We want to thank you for everything you have done, everything you are doing, and everything you are about to do, Grady. And we look forward to continuing to support you. If you need me for anything, you know how to reach me. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share this information with the individual. We will share this on all the platforms. It will go out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. And so anything we could do to get that word out, we are looking to do it, So thank you so much for everything. And yes, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. We're going to let this man go back to his family because, again, he's a proud dad. And we want to let him go back. We thank you. You've been listening to Story Time. We'll catch you next time. My name is Crystal Bodie Smith. I'm your Hope Catalyst. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. The only thing I ask you to do is real simple to support. You can like, you can share, and you can comment. And whatever you do, just take time out to go ahead and make sure you share it with your friends. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Story Time where human beings connect, and that's what we're doing here. So we'll see you next time. We are here on... Most of the time, you can catch us on Tuesday to 8 p.m. and 6 o'clock on Sundays. So we'll catch you next time on Story Time. We're going to go out. Grady, thank you so much again. We appreciate you. We're going to go out. We're going to go out with our song right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go out with our song and let you know why we do what we do. So check it out as we leave today. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's your girl, Lady J, and I'm proud to say we love our Zolly Pops. A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global.